Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Amon. I am the president of College of Eastern Idaho, and actually, I'm going to be your instructor in this BSN 255 Leadership Development Skills class. We're going to be doing this class in the summer of 2018. And because it's going to be in summer, we're going to compress a 16-week course, 16 chapters in our textbook, into 8, which means that you're going to really have to stay on top of the readings each week to complete this in 8 weeks. What I have before you is a syllabus that we're going to use for the course, and I want to just run through a couple of items here and show you a little bit of the Blackboard course itself. So there is a telephone number, and that's actually my cell phone. I'm glad to have you give a call if you've got any questions about assignments, or if it turns out that something happens in a week, you can let me know, and I'll be able to work with you if you don't turn in some work if I know in advance. I really like to use email, and there's my email address, rick.amon@cei.edu. I'm in Building 3 in the President's Suite, and would be glad to meet with you anytime if you'd like to come in and visit about the course. So the course description really is, and I think I would call this a practical application of leadership principles. And for those of you that maybe are already leaders or thinking about being leaders, I think you're going to find a lot of really good application and direction in this course. There's a lot of problem solving and motivation, team building, all of these things that go into good leadership. And I'd like to work through this with you. I've actually had a lot of experience with this, both as an Air Force officer and a pilot, and probably close to 30 years of working in community colleges, everything from Portland Community College for 16 years to the startup of College of Western Idaho in Boise 10 years ago, and now 3 years ago with College of Eastern Idaho, which was converted from ITech actually a year ago with a vote in May to now the College of Eastern Idaho. So as I mentioned, this is a Blackboard fully online delivered course. And it runs like any other course, kind of between Monday through Sunday, and the holidays really aren't that important. I would really suggest that you log in a couple of times during each week to stay on top of the work. So again, this is a self-directed course, and you're going to have to stay on this and be motivated to do the work and turn the work in on time. The course is going to begin on May 28th, which is a Monday, and it's going to continue week by week through July 20th. So it's not self-paced. I'm going to release each week on Sunday around 11 p.m. So when you get up on Monday morning, you're going to see the next week available for you. And again, as a reminder, each week is going to have 2 chapters of work that you're going to have to do. There'd be no prerequisites for the course. You can notice these course objectives if you'd like to read through those, and the idea of outcomes assessment. So we really rely on scoring rubrics and working with course outcomes. So the kinds of things that I would expect each of you to do in order to receive a grade for the course. The book is relatively expensive, Managing Organizational Behavior, What Great Managers Know and Do. The second edition or later would be fine. You can find this in the bookstore, or it's certainly available on Amazon. I'd like to add that I put a copy of this in the library in Building 5 for you. If you can't get this textbook right away, go into the library and check it out for a couple of hours, and you can keep up with the reading that way. So it would be in there for your use if you're not able to get the textbook immediately. I want you to notice the grading policy, and this is a 1,000 points total for the 8 weeks, and there are a number of areas such as exams, discussion boards, projects, business cases, and weekly quizzes. Each of those will add up then to a total of 1,000 points. So 900 or more points would be an A for the course. Between 800 and 899 a B, and it works down from there. So I'm going to try to keep the scores up for you on a weekly basis. So you should know every week kind of where you are with at least the amount of points that you should be able to use to earn. Generally, in a college course, you've got to put in 3 to 4 hours per credit per week. This is a 3-credit course. I would really expect you then to be spending between 9 and 12 hours for each chapter. So that's because this is doubled up. You're probably going to be spending between 12 and 15 hours a week if you're studying adequately for the course, doing all the collaboration and tests and those kinds of things. I tend to want to be able to give feedback to you within 24 hours. So if you post a thread or an email, you should be able to see a response from me within about a day. I want you to notice that each week you're going to have quizzes, and then there will be exams that would go over the quizzes that you've already had. So multiple chapters would go then into an exam, and there are 4 exams. What I do want to note, too, is that you can use your textbook if you like to look up questions for an exam or a quiz, but I want you to know that the quizzes and exams are going to be timed, so you can't spend a lot of time looking up those answers. You're just going to run out of time with it. The thing that you can't do is work with another student, so I expect this to be your work. I'm not anticipating any extra credit for this course during this cycle. One of the things that would be really important would be for you to post to discussion boards, and I just like you to post, and a lot of times I will also ask for you to respond to another student's post, and this would be a grading rubric that you could look at. So every one of these discussion boards would have 10 points possible, and you can see the kind of things that I would expect for you to earn those 10 points. As you see through here, there would be some expectations as to how you should behave as you interact with other students and with the instructor, as well as academic honesty. One of the best ways to contact me, as I had mentioned, would be through email. I would like you also to be aware of a drop policy. So you have to purposefully drop. If I don't hear from you, you're going to end up with an F for the course. It's not my responsibility to drop a student. And if you don't drop it yourself, either because you don't like an online course or the way this one's going, you are going to end up being charged for this and then receive an overall grade of an F. So it is your responsibility to drop the course. If you need any special accommodations, additional time for taking exams or anything like that, I want you to go to Student Affairs in Building 3, and they're going to be able to help you with any type of accommodation. There will be resources in the library in Building 5 if you like, and then here's a variety of things that you could look at for netiquette and acting professional online, all of those kind of things that are important. At the very end of the syllabus, you're going to see a scoring rubric, and this will take all of us through the 8 weeks that make up this course, along with the points that would be assigned to each of the areas. For example, the quizzes, discussion boards, special topic paper, the project points, and exams. And you'll notice that we begin on 528, and you're going to need to do both chapters 1 and chapters 2 in the textbook. So you can kind of look through this, and here are the point totals that would go to a full 1,000 points. Let me bring up the course itself, and this is the Blackboard shell that you'll be working in, and obviously you got to that or you wouldn't be able to see this video. So I've got some faculty information here, kind of a little bit on my background. You can meet the instructor and kind of get an idea of the background that I've got. This would be the area that you would find the syllabus and the schedule, the item that we just went through, and then this is an example of the textbook itself and what I would expect you to get to go through the course. One of the most important areas would be the course content. I'm going to come back to that in a second, but this is where the discussion boards would be, and this is a place when we have a group assignment that you're going to be assigned to a group, and here's the email connection that you would have with both me and other students. And finally, this would be the place you would look for your grades. And I will do my best to post the scores each week by Tuesday or possibly Wednesday to get any work that's done that week posted. Let's actually go in now to the course content, and here's an area that I just call Ask the Instructor. So if you've got a question that you think would be important for other students to know about, post it here, and then anything that I reply to would be available to all of the students. So you're going to notice the very first week, and within week there will be Chapter 1, organizational behavior and your personal effectiveness, and then also managing stress and time. So week 1, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and what I'd like to do is as you go into Chapter 1, I'll have a little video for you to review, and here would be the topics that we would be covering in Chapter 1, as well as the learning objectives for Chapter 1. There's a PowerPoint that comes from the textbook here, and I'd really recommend that you review that. That would be a good way to take a look at the important elements that make up each of the chapters. And in this case, there'll be a discussion board, and this first discussion board is simply an introduction. So what I'd like you to do is introduce yourself to the course and make a few comments there, and then respond to another student. This is a good way for you to get a feel for how the discussion board works. And then as far as being scored, here is Chapter 1 discussion board itself. And there are 5 myths concerning personal effectiveness. And I'd like you to comment on one of those, and you can read through this. And this particular discussion board is worth 15 points. There'll be a quick quiz for you to try and be able to work through just as a sample, and then finally the chapter quiz. One of the things that I really like to do is to point out things on YouTube. Primarily, TED Talks tend to be really good, and that would make a point about what the topic that we're covering that week. So those will be embedded here for you to review. So I think that gives you a pretty good idea of what this course is going to look like and how it's made up, and how I'm going to be scoring things. So I really wish you well in the course. I'm looking forward to getting to know you, and just a chance to go through a whole variety of leadership topics. So I wish you well with this, and I'll be able to see you online quite soon. So good luck with the course.